Garfield is a beat-for-beat ripoff of Toy Story. Whether or not you like Garfield as a guy, chances are you're not a fan of his 2004 movie. The film, penned by screenwriters Joel Cohen and Alex Sokolow, has been panned by viewers and critics alike.
Got milk?
But it sure isn't its lack of humor or deviations from the source material that are the film's worst offense. So let's all take a deep dive into how this entire plot, and I mean all of it, was blatantly lifted straight from the adventures of Woody, Buzz, and the whole gang from Andy's room. Garfield starts with a credit sequence establishing the protagonist's long-standing relationship with his owner, John Arbuckle. He's the center of John's world, much like Woody is the center of Andy's. Then at the inciting incident, Odie is adopted into the family. And like Buzz Lightyear, he gives the protagonist doubts about his status in the household.
As you can see, I'm still John's favorite.
I'm still Andy's favorite toy.
Bitter about his spot being usurped, Garfield takes advantage of Odie, but is ultimately bested by dumb luck. Soon, Garfield finds that John is letting Odie sleep in his bed with him, a privilege Garfield isn't allowed. Much like Andy's choice to take Buzz with him to Pizza Planet, John takes Odie with him on his date with Liz, leaving a jealous Garfield behind. Garfield gets so frustrated with Odie that he takes his rage out on one of Odie's toys, which, in Rube Goldberg fashion, ends up exploding into a much bigger catastrophe than he had anticipated. The audience is then treated to a montage of Garfield realizing that he's been replaced in his parody song, New Dog State of Mind, which narratively parallels Toy Story's Strange Things song. So anyway, Garfield then leaves Odie outside for the night and he runs away. Naturally, after seeing Garfield's treatment of his new house guests, his friends all turn on him, just like Woody's friends did with his treatment of Buzz. But let's back up a bit. At a certain point, the narrative of Garfield starts borrowing more from Toy Story 2 than Toy Story 1. A bit earlier in the film, we see Happy Chapman, a TV personality, try to acquire Odie in order to launch him into fortune and fame, for some contrived thing about Odie being a good dancer, I guess. However, John turns down Chapman's offer just like Andy's mom turned down Al's offer at the yard sale. And a bit later on, Chapman obtains Odie by illegal means by claiming he's the dog's rightful owner. Which now brings us back up to speed. So as Garfield flips through the channels, he sees the movie's villain on TV showing him where to find Odie. He gets out his map and sets out to find him in the big city. There, Garfield teams up with his mouse friend Louis to get to the telegraph tower where Odie is being held. Donning some unique disguises, they cross the street unseen by animal control. Garfield infiltrates the ventilation system in a sequence of slapstick gags, and then finally finds where Odie is being held.
It's Odie!
That's Woody!
After a brief conversation, Odie is taken from him, off to begin his showbiz career far away. Not unlike Woody, who's destined for stardom in the Toy Museum in Japan. That is, unless our protagonist can bring him back home. However, Garfield is spotted by animal control, and the movie briefly flips back to Toy Story 1. In the pound, Garfield meets a group of sad outcasts and finally realizes that Odie, the one he hated so much at first, is really his friend.
He's my friend.
So in the movie's third act, Garfield and the others hatch a plan to leave their prison. Then Garfield catches up with Odie at the train station and frees him from his prison.
See, these are the kinds of seats you get when you book at the last minute.
Excuse me, ma'am, but I believe you're on the wrong flight.
It's here in baggage storage where we see the final battle with the movie's antagonist. Thanks to all of Garfield's new friends, they make short work of Happy Chapman. In the end, all is well and the villain is humiliated on TV. Now, there are many other details that could be mentioned, like lifted sequences, line readings, visual gags, and other similarities that if they were in another movie wouldn't feel so conspicuous.
Good to see you, partner.
It leaves us wondering why a screenwriter would just blatantly copy someone else's work and claim it as their own. What kind of movies did Joel Cohen and Alex Sokolow write before they started ripping off classics like Toy Story? Wait, what? They wrote Toy Story? Toy Story was written by Joss Whedon, Andrew Stanton, and these guys. I kinda thought I was being cynical before, but there's no way this is a coincidence. They were straight up phoning in this one. And not only that, they didn't even write Toy Story 2. How is it even possible that the same people who wrote the script for Garfield were nominated for Best Original Screenplay for Toy Story 9 years earlier in 1995? Well, in his book, Creativity, Inc., former president of Pixar, Ed Catmull, recounts a story about what he calls a mistake we made in the early days of Pixar. We had hired outside writers to help with the film, but we weren't happy with the result, so we brought in someone else, another writer who ultimately did a terrific job. When the movie came out, we had to give credit to the original failed writers, due to the rules of the industry that we operate under. Now, Catmull diplomatically doesn't specify the names of these writers nor the movie in question, but in a 2005 interview for Focus magazine, formerly acclaimed screenwriter Joss Whedon had this to say about Toy Story's original original draft. They sent me the script and it was in shambles, but the story that Lasseter had come up with was, the toys are alive and they conflict. The concept was gold. Joss Whedon was Catmull's other writer that was called in to fix the terrible first draft. It seems pretty undeniable at this point that Joel Cohen and Alex Sokolow had nothing to do with Toy Story's success. But maybe Garfield wasn't a ripoff. Maybe it was a writing team's second attempt to tell their story about betrayal and friendship that was ripped out of their hands by the Hollywood juggernaut. Maybe if we stop looking at Garfield within the context of Toy Story and judge it by itself for what it is, it's actually not so bad. We might even...
And that's a sign that the tank is full.
Okay, so now to address the elephant in the room. If you don't already know, just about everything you watched in this video so far was copied almost verbatim from another video made years ago on another channel. And that one was originally re-uploaded from another channel made years before that, which was ultimately created by me. I just self-plagiarized. Why? I always kind of liked this video, and I thought I could do better now with years of YouTuber experience behind me. Also, this channel has a lot more subscribers than the previous two combined, and I thought I could reach a wider audience this way. And finally, I hate to say it, but the Chris Pratt Garfield movie is coming out now, and I figured I should get in on that view traffic. I mean, right? Having used my old stuff multiple times like this on the one video where I criticize people for reusing their work, the irony has not been lost on me. I got myself a new job outside of YouTube, and it's taking up most of my creative hours. Like a job. I don't know yet how much this will affect my upload schedule, if we even want to call it that, but this video was kind of my compromise to give people a little something as I try to balance my new workload. Maybe I'm letting myself off the hook a little too easily. I'll leave that up to you in the comments. My hope is that in time I'll learn to do things more efficiently and get out some new stuff for you to watch real soon. But for now, if you want to watch a video about a director who made a shot-for-shot remake of his own film, I've got one about funny games. But if you still want even more Garfield content, here's my video on a live-action Garfield sitcom that never actually happened. And I mean that literally. It never happened.